What is up, everyone? Today we're going to be testing out regular autopilot. I'm going to prove to you guys that you do not need full self-driving or enhanced autopilot, speaking of. Alright, so we're going to give it a try right here, jump right into it. We're going to turn it on. These roads are a bit windy, so we're kind of going to look at how it handles them. We have a few cars around us, you can see on the screen, and there's a car in front of us. And right here, this is a pretty tight curve and it's able to handle it. I'm gonna put my hands close to the steering wheel just to anticipate if anything does happen, but it's very good at handling it. And I've used it extensively. Now we're on city roads, of course. So it's not highway, it's slowing down here. This car was turning. Now it kind of overreacted a bit because it slowed down too much and wasn't ready to kick back right up to the speed limit. But right here, it's telling me to put my hand on the steering wheel. Now what you can usually do, you can either turn up the volume or change the speed and it will know that you're still there. Now we're approaching this car pretty fast and it just slammed the brake extremely hard. And so this usually happens when we're going at like a bigger incline. So like, see how we're kind of angled up a bit? And so it kind of confuses the car because the way the sun reflects and anticipation of what's in front of us. And the same case happens sometimes when we're going downhill. And so in that case, it actually did use the actual brakes of the car rather than just regenerative braking. Most of the time, the autopilot will only use regenerative braking. And so here we're about to make a left. And so, of course, with regular autopilot, it can't make the turn. So I'm gonna have to disengage and then make the left. And then we're gonna hop on this highway right here. You can see a bunch of cars. So it'll be a good test. So let's give it a try, see what happens. Should be fine, hopefully, fingers crossed. It's a super good system. And the car I'm driving is the 2023, see, cars just crossed the red light. So it's pretty dangerous. You gotta be attentive because of course, you know, sometimes the car is not gonna be as fast as you, and sometimes the car is gonna be faster than you at reacting. So here we are merging. So this is, like I was saying, the 2023 Model Y performance. So I don't have ultrasonic sensors, I don't have radar. Radar was removed a few years ago. Yet, Tesla Vision is super good at maintaining its speed and watching out for other cars at the same time. And so here we are on the highway. I'm about to engage again, autopilot. It already knows the speed limit's 60. I can even tap the 60 and then it'll go to 60 because I was going above the speed. So we're back at 60. We're driving, we're cruising along. There's no cars in front of us. You can see these cars overtaking us. It's aware of these cars. And here, we're gonna probably move over. So if we move over and I signal, it's aware that I wanna change lanes. So actually it doesn't force me to put a lot of tension on the steering wheel. So it allows me just to change the lane and then I can engage again, autopilot. And then if you noticed right there too, it turned off the signal right when I switched lanes because it has auto turn signal off feature. It's through software, so it's just paying attention to the lanes, sees you switch lanes, and it switches off the signal. So it's super useful so you don't forget your signal and you're just going down on the road and everybody's like, is he gonna turn? Is he gonna turn? Right? So that's super handy. Something else that's super useful is right here, it's kind of anticipating this turn. So it kind of slowed down just a hair just to be ready. And so it's very good at anticipating things. And it obviously delegates each scenario differently. I've also had situations where the car actually slows down for emergency services. So there will be like an ambulance or police lights, and so it'll slow down because it's ready. It's anticipating what could happen. These fire trucks or ambulance could cut you off. They could go in a different direction. So it's very useful. Over there you see downtown Houston. Such a beautiful sight. Love to pass by there. And obviously this is a chaotic environment. And so the car is, you know, calculating things in milliseconds, aware of all these cars, analyzing the environment, ready to make a decision, make an action. And so right here, you saw this car, the black car right here, kind of changed lanes into our lane. And you can see in the screen, you can see this car, it's white actually. The reason it's white, it's the focus of attention. And the car delegates one car to be the focus of attention. And that's the car it's gonna be focused on the most. So when a car is about to switch into our lane, or the car anticipates it switching into our lane, then it will turn that car white to let you know that it's aware of that car. And so even if it does suddenly switch into our lane, it's always ready to react, right? And so here is a perfect scenario. You're seeing like sunlight, shade, because of the environment we're in, right? The bridge is above us. And so the cameras are able to react to these changes in light, similar to your eyes reacting, right? So here we have an exit. So we want to merge over. So I just disengaged. And of course, like even when I disengage, it's aware of the whole environment. Nothing changes for you, right? And in my opinion, I mean, it's a stellar system. And the only incident that I've had where it was a bit off is phantom braking. And phantom braking effectively is when the car brakes and there's nothing in front of it to cause it to brake, right? And this has happened when it's been literally exact sunlight or a bright headlight that's pointing directly at the car's cameras. And that's usually the only scenarios that really happens, and it affects the situation that you're in. And so the car will brake in precaution. But I don't usually have an issue where it's speeding up erratically, where it's not meant to speed up, where it's causing a dangerous situation. But as you know, phantom braking can be dangerous because if a car behind you is tailgating really close, it could run into you, right? So you don't want to have phantom braking, but it's extremely rare. And actually Tesla, with the 2023 models, they've added a little shade on these cameras up here. You can't really see them, it's on the other side of course, but there's a shade that kind of goes above these cameras, and so it prevents the cameras from getting sun that just reflects directly on them. And so it avoids most phantom braking incidents, right? And so it's super good that we have that. All right, so here we're gonna exit off the highway. We're gonna go down, take some regular roads, but obviously, like as you can tell, it's stellar on the highway. And of course, because there's no traffic lights, it's kind of just, you know, easy going straight. There's not many issues that you would technically run into. And so it's a good test of the system, right? But also it's important to utilize it on the regular roads to see how it is. Of course, it won't stop at red lights or stop signs, any of those, right? And so you need to be mindful of all that when you're operating the vehicle. So you need to be cautious. If there's a red light, you can't really forget that you are at a red light. Yeah. So we're gonna go to another area. I'll catch you guys there. We'll see how it handles that area. All right. Okay, so here we are. We're back. We're on the highway. A bit of curvy roads. So we're seeing how this is handling. It's going a bit slow. For some reason, it thinks the speed limit's 45, and it may be because I guess it's detecting the road down there, like the feeder. So we're just gonna disengage because here we're actually gonna come off this highway. There's a few cars. I love these repeater cameras, super useful, but nobody wants to let us switch lanes. So there we go. Switch lanes. People are aggressive today. All right, there we go. We're just exiting. We're gonna make a U-turn, head back a different direction, and we're gonna see how it handles that. So let's give this a try. All right, there's a red light. All right, I'm not gonna bore you guys at the red light. So next clip, red light will be green. All right, there we go. It's green. We're good to go. And we're gonna hop back on the highway. Okay, good. It's yellow. We're gonna take it, guys. Don't run yellow lights, because they'll turn red at any second. You won't be ready for them. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know you guys do it, so don't do it. All right, let's do this. So we're gonna engage autopilot here. We're gonna see how it merges. So here, see the lane ends and we're merging on, and it was a bit tight. It came a bit close to this car. It's a bit aggressive. Cars were kind of slowing down. We're just gonna see how it handles this situation. Yeah, so it slowed down fine. It used regen braking, so it was perfectly fine. Didn't use the brake. Yeah, so that was fine. And I think, I'm not sure if the camera caught this, but on the left, this lane to the left of me, there was actually, it was showing these arrows showing us that the lane next to us was going slower than us, kind of keeping us mindful. So this does occur also when you're not in autopilot, to let you know if you're not, you know, actively aware that you're going much faster than the cars around you. So right now we're going at a decent pace, 40 miles an hour. Cars are going. It sees everybody. It has the car in front of us in white, so letting us know that it's aware of the cars around us. Okay. So now let's see. Let's hop over to this lane. There we go. And then it's telling us, the navigation's pretty good. It'll tell us like which lanes we want to stay in. So these two white ones are the lanes we want to stay in. Now we're gonna hop back over here because we're gonna turn onto Smith Street. You know Mr. Smith? He's the guy that everyone knows. Yeah, Smith Street. I don't know. Everybody knows this street for some reason. But all right, let's keep going along this path. So it's super good also at handling these windy roads. And so a big factor of that is because it's the performance and has the larger tires and wheels. And so it's a super good benefit. Also during when it's raining, when the conditions aren't super ideal, it's really good because it makes you feel safer in your vehicle. Yeah, so all right, so let's see here. So now we're kind of in a bit of downtown, or on like the outside of downtown, if we want to say, kind of on the sides of it. We're gonna head to a park, and we're gonna see how it handles it. There's a few windy roads there, there's some tunnels, and so we're gonna see how it anticipates the area. We hear some sirens. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to catch these police lights to see how the car handles police lights, but here, of course, I'm driving the vehicle. I'm gonna turn right here, and we're gonna head on our way. Some pedestrians. All right, let's go. Some curvy roads. So this is a really good road to kind of test autopilot. I find it really good at seeing what it's capable of. So we're going to engage autopilot here. We have a car in front of us, and so we're going at a good speed, 40 miles an hour. Speed limit's 40 miles an hour. Nice area, beautiful bridges, dark and light, and so different, you know, different type of scenario. So let's see how it's going to handle this. So right now it's telling me to put my hands on the steering wheel, or of course, you know, turn up the volume, change the speed, and so it'll help it, you know, kind of know that you're still sitting there. So it's going a bit slower than I would think. So I can press on the accelerator pedal actually, and I can override the speed. But because I did that, it wants to also make sure that, oh, I didn't fall asleep and my foot's accidentally pressing down on the pedal. So it instantly told me to put my hand on the steering wheel or let it know that I'm there. So these roads are kind of curvy. So we're gonna see how it kind of does this. So right now it's kind of, it's getting close a bit to the left side. Now it's a bit more accurate in the center of the lane. There's a really bright sunlight. So this will be a good test to know if it's gonna, you know, get affected by phantom braking. And so the sun is super bright. Like even for me, it's hard for me to, you know, exactly see further than a certain distance because it's actually causing a lot of glare, especially with the glass. But my glass isn't super clean right now. I still need to get it clean. So yeah, so we're just kind of assessing the situation, trying to see what it's good at, what it's bad at. And like I said, it's not bad in most ways, in 99% of the scenarios, right? The worst thing, which is not super bad at all, is the phantom braking. And really, to be completely fair with you, it rarely happens, and it's like an isolated incident, right? And a lot of times it could be your camera's dirty, has some, you know, oils on it, whatever it is, right? And so it's causing an extra glare where the camera's getting confused. So here, of course, it's driving itself, right? So we're going, the road's a bit curvy, there's a car around us. Now it turned this car to white because it thought it was about to cross the line. He kind of went over the line a bit, so he's anticipating that this is the target car, this is like the host, right? And so it was ready to take action, like brake, while we're going, right, to make sure to keep the occupants safe. So we're going decent speed. I might might give it a little bit of a push here, you know, just depending on the environment, taking into account how many cars are around us, the conditions, if it's raining, snowing, whatever it is, right? And so I'm giving it an override. Here it was prompting me to take control, but it's because it's also a windy road, and so it wants to be extra precautious. It depends on the situation, of course, like we discussed. Now this car is approaching us a little bit faster than us, and so the car wanted to be ready, so it also notified me again to take control of the steering wheel, right? And so here we have the sun again, super bright, it's facing us, it's causing a lot of, you know, a lot of distractions, right? Even for the driver. So imagine the car, the cameras, and so it's super useful because also you have the cameras on the side of the car, right? So those cameras aren't affected by the sun because they're not directly pointing at the sun. And so you don't really have this issue most of the time, right? So the cameras know to communicate with each other, to let each other know that, okay, this camera is giving a go-ahead, that we're clear, there's no issues, and then, you know, right? So the car delegates. It delegates what's a safe scenario and what's not. Right, so we're still going here, curvy, a little bit of a tunnel. Car's turning the steering wheel pretty good. I mean, a few years ago, like for a car to do that, it was pretty crazy to think that, wow, a car could do it so well and so confidently without jitteriness, right? So here it's turning. I have my hand near the wheel just in case, because we do have a car next to us. So you got to be ready to anticipate, right? Because you never know, right? But once all cars obviously run on this autopilot and all that, right? So here we're going a bit too fast, but it slowed down a bit because it wasn't sure if these cars were in our lane, because obviously with the curve it was kind of a bit confusing. So it's slowing down. It disengaged the autopilot right now actually on its own, because this car, the white Lexus over there, was actually on line, and so the car was unsure if this car is about to change into our lane. It was a bit confusing, right? And same thing, as a human driver, you might say to yourself, it seems like, you know, this driver might not be sure where they're going. They're going to turn left, they're going to turn right, and some people don't signal. So you got to be ready for like a lot of situations. So here I engaged autopilot. It's approaching these cars, and so it's working pretty decently, right? And obviously, like at this point in time right here, there's actually no lanes because this is an intersection. So the lane just kind of stops, but it still knows, right? It kind of extrapolates, right? So it's extrapolating the lane. Even when you cross the intersection, even though there's no physical lines in the intersection, like you'll see right here, obviously there's the joint segments between the concrete, but there's no like lines, right? And so it's anticipating, and you can see on the screen, like it's showing you that, you know, there are lanes, obviously, right? There's extrapolation occurring to let you know that the car is comfortable doing it, right? And so this system works really well. And personally, I think that full self-driving, it's true, it works extraordinarily. See here, no more lines. Got a bit confused, but that was perfectly fine. It's just because that other car kind of went to the left correctly, of course. It didn't do anything wrong. It went to the left to turn left, right? So here it's not letting us engage, but now we're back on. You can see these, they're construction items, and you can see they appear as cones on the screen. Obviously they're pretty sporadic. They're pretty sporadic all around. And so it's perfectly fine. Okay, so here it's kind of slowing down. It's anticipating something. It's because it's a construction zone and there were cars. You can see the cars in front of us. They're slowed down a bit, so we're about to slow down. We're about to approach the tunnels. So we're gonna see how it handles these tunnels. We're gonna see how it does. Maybe, you know, you never know, honestly. But there's a car approaching us. We're probably gonna hop in the middle lane, just to kind of give it, you know, more test of reliability. Cars on each side. So we're just gonna switch lanes. There we go. All right, so we did switch lanes. Okay, so now we're in the middle. It's going a bit slow. That's not the speed limit, so I'm just gonna tap the speed limit sign, and so it knows to go to that speed, right? And I have it set to actually keep 7 car lengths in between me and each car. So it's really a choice. I mean, it's whatever you feel comfortable. See, you press this to the left or to the right, and you change the car distance, falling distance, right? And so I'm going to keep it at 7 just to be on the safe side. I feel more comfortable. Now here we're approaching these tunnels. You can see right here, speed limit's 40. We're going 40. We can pick up the pace a bit. And it's telling us to touch the steering wheel. You can see the tunnels are passing through them. We're passing through them, and it's handling the situation really good. As you can see, it kind of gets dark a bit here. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and we're approaching outside of the tunnel here. Yeah, it's doing a pretty good job, right? Yeah, so that was honestly a stellar test. We're actually at our destination now, so we're just gonna make a right here. Yeah, so it was a super good test of reliability. All right, so here we are. This is the park. About to go for a run, a jog, whatever you guys want to call it. Always remember, got to get your workout of the day. Don't forget, stay happy and keep smiling. You got this. You can do it. All right, well, I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.